Hey YouTube, today is May 29th. This is a friendly talking head for Ron Paul, and today I'm going to cover some constitutional principles which apply to the Christian concept of freedom. I am going to be covering materials which have come to me by way of a gentleman who is a devout believer and an author of several books, producer of many videos, and a dear friend of mine. The Constitution, how and why it limits the power of government. The Lord God never intended for one man to dominate another. You can't find that anywhere in the Bible. In fact, from Genesis clear on through, He intended for men to be free. I think the most prevalent example of this is when the children of Israel left Egypt. The type of government that He gave them reflected the principle. Remember, Moses accepted the Ten Commandments, and they were a law for us all to obey. Still today, it is the most perfect law known to man. And instead of a government being set up to rule the children of Israel, what was set up was judges. And the only form of government that was exercised was the children of Israel were not to violate any of God's laws, and that they would be judged as to that infraction. And of course, we all know what happens when men are totally free. They prosper. And they really prosper. They become wealthy beyond all dreams. So what happens when men become wealthy in any society? I think we've watched that in the last 90 years in this country. They want to shirk their responsibilities and enjoy their wealth. And that's exactly what happened to the children of Israel. They shirked their responsibilities and they wanted to enjoy their wealth. So they asked Samuel to go to God and ask for a king. And of course we know what God told Samuel would happen. And that if the children of Israel got a king, he would take all their man-child to run in front of his chariot, carrying spears, and he would take a tenth of their vineyards, of their olive gardens. He would take their female child, and they said, "We don't care. Everyone else has a king, and we want one too. Let the king take care of us." And we all saw how the king took care of them, and how the king used them, and it's no different than here today. It's the same way. I think one of the biggest problems we have here is a lack of knowledge of not only God's law, but the law of this country. And that's the main problem that we have. And preachers who preach this book don't even understand it and equate it against our laws. Particularly when they talk around March or April. Render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's, and render tribute to that which the tribute is due. Hardly any of them know that preach Matthew 17 verses 24 through 27, which says, 24, "And when they were come to Capernaum, that they received tribute money, came to Peter and said, Doth not your master pay tribute? 25. He saith, Yes. And when he comes into the house, Jesus prevented him, saying, What thinkest thou, Simon? Of whom do the kings of the earth take custom or tribute? Of their own children, or of strangers? 26. Peter saith unto them, Of strangers. Jesus saith unto them, Then the children are free. 27. Notwithstanding, lest we should offend them, go thou to the sea and cast a hook, and take up a fish that cometh first. And when thou hast opened his mouth, thou shalt find a piece of money. That take. and give unto them for me and thee. Now, what did Jesus say when he spoke these 4 short verses? He said a lot. Let's look at this. If the king doesn't take custom from his own children, then they are what? Free. What did he mean by being free? Free from what? Well, free from taxation. If the children are free, they are free from taxation. Then he said, we don't want to offend these people, so go down to the sea, cast a hook, and bring up a fish, and open his mouth. You'll take a piece of money and give that to him. Did he say go to Judas, the treasurer of the apostles, and take it from his purse? No, he didn't say it from my purse, nor did he say that either. He didn't say take it from Peter's purse. He said go to the sea and take it from a fish. Now, the false god, Dagon, was a half fish, half man creature, and was said to spew coins from his mouth. Clearly, the writer of this piece that I have shared with you believes that a false god only produces a false thing, and that is what is due a false government, a false thing. It's interesting to analyze what freedom means. It's interesting to note that we need to take personal responsibility, that abiding by the laws that of the most perfect government known to man. Our founders tried to emulate that and did a good job. It's only been in the last few years, the last century, that we have gone astray. I believe completely that Ron Paul is going to help us remedy that. There is still a boatload of personal responsibility that has to be taken by every individual supporter, every individual American, and that is to stand on your own 2 feet. Abide by a moral code. Take not from the government. Work for what you want. Save your money. Don't borrow. Don't lend. All sorts of common sense things that are going to pull our country back together again. We can do this, YouTube. We need to get Ron Paul in office. Thank you.